Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and tonight I'm sharing an easy to duplicate single turned double page layout using our featured collection of March, which is our brand new Honey Bunny collection. So we're going to use the paper pack and sticker sheet here, and the sticker sheet has wonderful colors in it. It has quite a few different styles of banners. It has pennant banners, dovetailed banners, arrow banners. It has some great sentiments and word stickers, as well as some journaling opportunities. So we have some florals, we have some weave, we have a honey butter dot, we have a pastel peach floral, we have the hero bunny paper, as well as the floral. So I'm going to pull out a couple different pieces, but here's some cute zip strips. I love the zip strips that come in this collection. We're going to be adding a little bit of cardstock, and then we're going to be following and trying to reduplicate this featured layout. I loved this layout because it has a focal Easter photo on it, and it's so easy to reduplicate. I can see from the background that it isn't going to take much work, and that it incorporates our Honey Bunny Stampin' Thin Cuts, and it's not overdone. It's understated. It's very simply done, and I absolutely love it. Now, I'm not going to add the 3x3 photo. It's just a personal preference. You can totally add that 3x3 photo on the corner, but I love my grandson Waylon James Easter photos in the old garden tub. So you're going to see how quick and easily the base of this is going to come together. We have two 3x12 strips, and I think that those bunnies are going to go perfectly with Waylon James at 6 months old. It was his first Easter. So we have two 3x12 Hero Bunny papers, and then that leaves a 6x12 limeade cardstock, which is going to go great. There's some green eggs mixed in, and there's a little bit of green in Waylon James blanket. And then we have a 10x10 white daisy over the top, so that you just see those strips peeking out off to the side. So you can sort of see that we have some even pieces there. I'm going to use the light side of a 9 3/4 by 9 3/4 Seabrook pattern paper. Again, I'm kind of choosing pastel, but more masculine, if that makes sense. So we've got the limeade, we've got the Seabrook. Now they show in the master layout here the pastel pink pattern. And there is a dot pattern on the back of that that's honey butter, but I'm showing you here how you really could get by with two 3x3 pieces. This is a 3x12 piece, but the only parts of that that are going to show is not even 3x3. You could go smaller than 3x3, but to be safe, you could do 3x3 pieces. Now I do want a contrast color, and so I want to use the honey butter, and I want to have a little bit wider of a frame. So I'm going to go with 5.5 by 7.5 for a 5.5 inch photo by 5x7 photo. And then we have the weave pattern that are kind of like a little bit of a watercolor. So we're going to go with 1x5 because they're slightly smaller than the photo mat. Then I do go ahead and flip that pastel pink over, and I think just because it's Waylon James, I think it would be a super cute offset. And then he has the little yellow egg in the corner there. He has some yellow in his blanket there. And then we already know we're probably going to use the Easter Blessing sticker as the title. So I'm liking those colors that are coming together. Some people would always, you know, think that pastel is going to be more for girly, but it totally works for boys. So here we have the Honey Bunny Scrapbooking Stampin' Thin Cut. And originally I'm thinking I might change the spring title to say Easter, because it's Waylon James's first Easter. And so this is the thin cut that goes with that Easter title. And it looks like they've done stamping tone on tone, maybe a little Seabrook on Seabrook. And I'm thinking thinking if I do the Easter title up to the top, that'll look really, really cute. Then suddenly I realized that I would be saying Easter at the top and Easter blessings just below it, and it's a little too redundant. And so I do end up going back to spring and deciding to use spring. I could change the Easter blessing sticker and put a different sticker there, but I did opt to say spring and then say Easter blessings. Now I've stamped off many times to season my stamp, and I actually practiced, and I thought that Seabrook ink was too light and the spring just didn't show up dark enough. So I went with Sage ink on spring, and then I'm going to do a little bit of ink rubbing with a blending brush and come back in with a lighter tone on Seabrook. So I'm going to practice a little bit on scrap paper just so I make sure that I get the right color and that I'm not too dark. And I'm going to go over the top of the spring and just kind of dirty that up a little bit and give it a little bit of a hue in the background. And that is literally how simple this background is. We have some sticker strips to add and we have some embellishing to do, but that was literally minutes to put this together. It's such an easy go-to layout that I think really features and highlights a great photo. And on an Easter photo, I think it's totally appropriate to have a single photo on a page. So now I have done some thin cutting of some of the bunnies, the different kinds of bunnies, and I'm actually stamping them in intense black because I'm going to do some tri-blend markering over the top. And they stamp really nicely. So we have like a running bunny, we have a little bunny that's standing up, and I'm making extras. They actually only used 2 bunnies on the feature layout, but I always like to make extras because at this point in the video, I'm definitely going to make a companion page. I want to make a duplicate page that's almost identical, but with different size photos. And it's a very go-to easy thing to do. I hear lots of people say, well, I'm not creative enough. I don't know what to do with the second page. If you reduplicate or even rearrange the original pieces from an original layout and move those over to a companion page, but change up the photo sizes, it's a perfectly easy and legitimate way to make a quick, easy, functional companion page that looks like they were absolutely made to go together and planned out that way. And so I love doing that. Sometimes you can change the orientation, so you can create a duplicate layout for a companion page just by doing the exact same thing but changing the orientation. So I have 3 markers here. I have earth brown, gold brown, and pale pink. And that's what I'm going to be using for the bunnies. And I'm first going to come over sections with the light side of the gold brown blend. And I'm going to go in a section, and then I'm going to come in again with the light part of the earth brown, and just do a few little highlights like around the little ears, at the top of his head or her head. And then I'll come back in with the light and I'll do some blending. And it's just going to be enough to really blend that. Now, if you've never used our tri-blend markers before, it takes a second for it to start activating. I'm actually coming in now with a little bit of medium earth brown and making a couple little darker spots. And then I'm going to do that blending with the light again. So a couple little bit with the light earth brown, a little bit with the dark earth brown, and then coming over the top of it with the gold brown blend on the light side. And, you know, it will... when you put the darker color and then you come over it with the lighter color, it might seem like it's going to leave a line there for just a little bit until that ink starts to activate and it actually starts to make the blends. That's why they're called tri-blend. It makes them sort of smooth out together just by running over that that color again. So I'm going to repeat the process, and I'm just kind of doing it a little bit in sections so I can blend in the smaller sections before they get really dry. Now at the center of the bunny, I'm going to keep it pretty light. I'm only going to do the darker tones around the edges, and then I'm going to blend with the light. And then toward the tummy, I'm going to keep it really light. I'm not going to blend in a lot of the dark more toward his tummy. I'm going to leave that lighter, and then I'm going to come back in with just a tiny bit of pale pink when I get that all done, and I'm going to do the ears, the insides of the ears, and a tiny little bit around the bunny's nose, and then you can come back in again if you want and blend that, and I'm going to do a little teeny tiny bit of that pale pink on the tummy as well, the really low part of the tummy, and it's going to seem so golden brown. It's just going to blend, and I'm going to leave the tail white. I'm going to repeat the same coloring with all of the bunnies. They're all going to be colored similar with just a little bit of dark shading with the light and medium earth brown, and then blending the base and the blending with the gold, the light side of the gold brown, and then just a few little touch-up areas with the pale pink, and then I think it looks perfect. It just looks so smooth and so nice, and I'm going to repeat that with the other bunnies. So Honey Bunny is our featured collection for March, and we have a scrapbooking workshop kit that is available that creates 6 pages, and then I'm excited to, of course, create my own versions as well. So now we have the coloring done on all of the bunnies, and I'm planning on using 2 of the bunnies on the page that we're working on now and reserving 2 of the bunnies for a simple right page. Now you can see that I've done a little bit of ink blending with the blending brush and the Scrapbook on the bottom in the areas that might show. Now it's not going to show very much. It's just going to be a little bit of ink blending that'll show through the journaling on the bottom, and just to help tie in the blending that's at the top. It looks a little funky before we get the title in place and we get the blending in place, but it's actually just right to be able to peek through the journaling, I think. So now you can see what a simple base this was. It's literally together already. We're going to embellish with some sticker strips. We're going to embellish with the banner, and then I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to each of these banner pieces, and then we'll put that off to the top. We have some really cute spring colored dots that are Honey Bunny dots, and we're going to add that to the banner, and then we'll embellish some other pieces on the base of the Scrapbook as well, some of the egg strips, and then the dashed line strips as well. And there we have our 10 o'clock whistle, so it's time to come home. I don't know if anyone out there still lives in a small town where you have a curfew whistle, but we do. So we live in a little town, and I'm like, never fails. I'm always recording. So we're going to add this dash line strip. So it's kind of cool on the sticker sheet this time. Sometimes there's some little wasted transition strips between the actual stickers. And what they've done this time is they added dashed lines to those wasted little pieces in between so they can actually be used. So we're going to put one of those on top, and then we're going to put the egg sticker across the bottom of the Scrapbook, and then we're going to put the other dashed line sticker on the top of that. And it will be 9 3/4, and you're going to watch me struggle here trying to trim it after putting it on, when I should have just put it on the paper trimmer and trimmed it to 9 3/4 inches, and then it would have gone by a lot faster. And then we're going to be able to add our embellishments, and we're essentially going to be done. Now let's talk while I'm getting some of these little pieces on here about the companion page. Like I said, the very easiest way that you can do to make a quick and easy companion page is to duplicate the primary page. So you can duplicate the base and maybe reverse it to the opposite. So let's say you use 2 of the 3x12 bunny strips of paper and then the 6x12 limeade piece on the base, exactly as you did on the left page, but then maybe instead of putting the honey butter dot piece over to the left, you simply move the honey butter dot piece over to the right on the companion page. You're changing up one thing, so you have an identical base with just maybe rearranging a piece. Another thing that you could do is you could move it the opposite direction. You could put that extra honey butter dot piece horizontally, and then you could also change up the center focal photos and make them different sizes. You could make a grid on the top of the simple base layer. There's a lot of ways to make a companion page without taking a lot of thought and a lot of time. So now I'm just getting the banner in place, and I'm taking just a few minutes to get it kind of curved right. It never fails. I usually have like one of those that gets a little wonky and then it doesn't curve like a banner, and then I fuss with it a little bit. So I'm sort of fussing with the banner, and then I'm going to add those cute little pastel dots that go with this collection. And so we're going to have the same base pieces on the companion page as we do on the left page. The only difference is the white daisy and the Seabrook pieces will be a little bit of a different size, and I'll be going over that with you, but it's going to be a linear layout. So we're going to have the same base, and we're going to have the photos directly across from the 5x7 photo that we're creating here right now. So just kind of preparing you a little bit that what you will do is you will double the base pieces if you're going to make the companion page. So on the left page, we had 2 3x12 bunny pieces, and we're going to have 2 3x12 bunny pieces on the right page. We had a 6x12 limeade piece on the base, and we're going to have a 6x12 limeade piece on the companion page. We had 2 1x5 watercolor strips on the left page, and we're going to have 2 1x5 watercolor strips on the right page. From there, we're going to change it up a little bit, and the pieces will be a little bit of a different size on the right page. Just giving you a heads up before we get over there while I take my sweet time getting the banner just so, and I'm fussing on it. I actually did speed that up a little bit, so I must have been super slow on that, but I just wanted it to have a nice swoopy swoop. And so now I'm adding a couple little heart stickers, a large peach and a small green over on the left, just like the master. Really the only thing different than the feature layout is that 3x3 photo in the corner. I've removed that 3x3 photo in the corner, and I want to put a little bunny on that corner and maybe move the Easter blessings over just a little ways. So I'm going to take the sticky off of the back of Easter blessings with an anti-static pouch. Then I'm going to put some foam tape on that, and then I'm going to add the foam tape to that and then put that a little more over to the right than it is in the master. And then I'll go ahead and center my journaling below that. And I love this photo and these photos so much, and the story behind it isn't just that it's Waylon James' first Easter. Waylon James is our youngest grandson, and he comes from my youngest son and his wife. But they didn't have Waylon James until they were 30 and 31 years old. And the other kids, our older two, had children already. And I always told my children that they would always get an Easter basket on Easter until they had children of their own. And as soon as they had children of their own, they would no longer get Easter baskets. And this was same as Christmas stockings. So until they had children of their own, and it seems like they just didn't have children and didn't have children and didn't have children, even though 30 and 31 is not old by any means, but the other two had had children for a long time. So they ended up with Easter baskets every year on Easter until they were 30 and 31 years old. old. And the Easter baskets evolved over the years. So the Easter baskets would be big laundry baskets when they were young and first together and broke, and they would have household items in them like laundry soap, and they'd be like, sweet. They would have like shampoo and conditioner and laundry soap and all of those things, those household things that were kind of expensive. So this particular Easter that I'm scrapping about now, the Easter before this, they came to Easter and they got their Easter baskets and they had their little egg hunt, and they always had to dye eggs because they were the youngest, even though they were 30 and 31. And so they got their Easter baskets, and then they broke the news to us by giving us an Easter card with an ultrasound picture in it that they were having Waylon James, and they were laughing because they were like, we wanted to wait until we got our Easter baskets. And so we held off until after Easter so we could get our Easter baskets before we told you. And so I thought that was so cute because they wanted their last Easter basket. So that was their last Easter basket, because the following Easter, as you can see here, Waylon James was 6 months old. And so now the Easter baskets are done for Zachary and his wife, because now they have a child. So such a fun story that they got to have Easter baskets, and they were always good sports because they did the finding of the eggs when we didn't have other grandchildren around, and coloring of eggs, and good sports so they could get their Easter basket. So fun. I'm so happy to scrap that story here and put that in the journaling, and adding the finishing touches here, adding the little dots. And this is such a simple page. I don't know why I'm taking so long to add my little dots here, but we're going to come over then and we're going to reduplicate that exact same base, 3 by 12 2 bunny paper, 6 by 12 limeade paper, 3 by 12 honey butter dot paper. The only differences in the bases is we're going to put the honey dot paper over on the right instead of on the left, and then we're going to make the mats smaller. So instead of 10 by 10 for the white daisy, it's going to be 8 by 10 for the white daisy, and instead of 9 3/4 by 9 3/4 for the Seabrook, it's going to be 7 3/4 by 9 3/4, and then that's going to be the base. And then we're going to have 1/4 inch photo mats. So we have a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, 2 of the honey butter for 2 3 by 3 photos and 1 5 by 7 photo. And then I've created this visual triangle by putting the bunnies over on the right with the Easter sticker, a couple little egg stickers, and then 2 little bunnies from the thin cuts. And that is it. All I have done is a couple little stickers up at the top left there. So sweet, a little yellow heart, and then a few little gems. And so by reduplicating that simple and easy left page, we have a simple, easy right page, and we now have a double page layout that is adorable for 4 different focal photos. I hope you enjoyed this simple and easy process video, and that you'll take a moment to hit subscribe and the notifications bell to see more videos like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and shoot me a comment, and I hope you'll reduplicate this simple and easy page. It's so much fun when you don't have to have too much stressful work involved in a cute and easy layout. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon right here on Snips by Kelly. Bye-bye.